Okay, welcome back. I'm here with Ron Levecchi from Fran. Ron, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, first, Fran, can you talk a little bit about that and a little bit about the background and your involvement too with it?
Sure. Fran was founded in 1987 by Howard Bassick, and over the 25 years, it's never been in Western New York. Now, it was founded with a unique concept rather than franchise brokering. It's franchise consulting. And our job is to provide credible candidates to franchisors. In a sense, we're recruiters for franchisors. I joined FranNet in January of this year, so it's been a little over 7 months. And my job has been to network and move into the community and bring FranNet to the people that want to go into small business ownership.
Mm-hmm. How many different franchise connections are there that you have?
Yes, there are over 3,100 concepts in this country, and you can imagine with that myriad of concepts, it'd be very difficult to find your way through to a selection of a concept for yourself. Now, you could go to Google and Google a franchise name, and you wouldn't quite know where to go with it. You can go study it and go down that trail. What our job is to work with the client and help them go through that. We work with about 100 concepts at any point in time.
Now, what's the process that you go through in trying to, you said through your networking, you reach out into the community, you create awareness of FranNet, but then once you find a potential franchisee, what are the steps that you go through to make the right connection, to coach them through the whole process right to the end?
Yes, that's what differentiates us from other people that are franchise matchmakers. We first have a discussion with the client to see what their interests are. And then we have them fill out an assessment. It's a rather in-depth assessment. It was put together by a psychologist quite a number of years ago, specifically for us. It's an in-depth analysis of who they are, what their business values and motives are. It's about a 20 to 30-minute online assessment, and from that assessment we get a report. From that report, we determine what their assets are, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then match them to the franchisor needs. Mm-hmm. And that's where our strength is. We do that matchmaking.
What kind of process is that, though, in terms of time? I mean, does it depend on the qualifications or of the franchisee, the potential franchisee, or?
It's a fairly quick process at the beginning. It takes just a week or two to get to the point of getting the report and then having to sit down face to face, which by the way is unique as well. FranNet is one of the very few that does that, and I'll travel to the other side of Syracuse. By the way, my territory goes from Lake Erie all the way over to Roman Utica and Watertown and Binghamton. So we'll sit down face to face and review the report. That report gives us a business model. Again, from that model, we match the individual to the franchise.
Mm-hmm. And there's usually a really good connection between, once that connection is made with the franchisee, you come to a final agreement. You're still there afterwards, right?
Yes. What we do at that point is offer up in the meeting 3 or 4 concepts, and then they choose the 3 that they want to pursue. And they go through a process of validation. They start with a franchisor. The franchisor is legally obligated to give them an FDD, a franchise disclosure document, that tells you all the workings of that franchise, including any earnings claim, which is in Section 19. It's a very highly regulated industry that back in the early 70s wasn't, and it got off the rails a bit, so it became regulated. And now we have things like the FDD, which is a very good document to have. So we stay with the client with a phone call at least once a week as they go through the process. At that point, we're a facilitator or a coach. We keep them on track. Again, they validate with the franchisor. We provide them a list of questions to ask the franchisor. Then they move on to validation with franchisees. Now, the franchisors typically can't provide P&Ls and balance sheets of the individual franchises, but the franchisees can, mm-hmm. and they love to talk. Mm-hmm. They're very proud of their accomplishments, and they want to tell you what their P&L looks like and how their success has been and how harrowing the initial experience may have been.
Yeah. Well, can you talk a little bit about why a franchise versus an independent business?
Yes. That's the beginning of our process. We start with a seminar, and in the seminar we discuss basic small business ownership. And there's 3 styles that we talk about. Starting a business from scratch. You have this idea that you want to be a filmmaker, and you go off and start your own business. And there's a pretty long period where you generate the awareness in the community and then gather business as you move forward. The other approach is to buy an existing business of any kind, and then the third is to buy a franchise. Now, with a franchise, one of the benefits of the franchise is there is a track record before you start, and the track record is the other franchisees. Right. So if you have to go get money, the strength of the franchise will help the individual get money. We have several organizations that provide funding for franchises specifically, and they're partners in what we do as well.
So there are a lot of resources available in a lot of different ways, from yourself and from the franchisor to provide,
directions
and other resources, maybe financing and maybe training and things like that.
That's correct.
Can you talk about, you have this this piece, roadmap to success, that you use in meeting, guiding the franchisees. Can you talk about that real quick?
Sure. That is a document that we co-branded with SCORE, and SCORE works in concert with the SBA.
Right.
And we developed this document some time back, and what it does is help the individual understand the process of idea through business ownership, starting and growing the business.
Okay.
And we've done the same with SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center, again, a part of SBA.
Okay. So you have a lot of resources too,
We do.
and partnerships that help, validate what you're doing, give you strength to what you're doing, and providing information to the franchisee. So.
Right. And one of the early steps that we do offer up is for them to consult with SCORE and SBDC. SCORE helps mentor the individual through the process of business startup and growth, where SBDC works at the very front end and helps put together business plans. And they both help point the client into a direction for financing.
Yeah, great. How do people reach you if they want information?
First of all, they can reach me online, frannet.com, and you go to the directory, and in the directory is my name for this region. And they click on that, it gives you a profile of who I am, and in there they can log in and request information. The other way is to give me a call. And again, my phone number is listed in that directory.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for being with us. That's really good information.
Okay, you're welcome.
And we hope if you're interested in franchises, you can give Ron a call. Stay with us. We'll be right back.